that was my whole thing. I would just get home and just swim and swim and swim every single day. And I could not figure out how to swim with my book, which was very sad. And welcome to OPL's mini episode series, The New Title Drop, where we share new titles coming out this month. This is the episode for July of 2026. I am Angela, and I am here with Melanie and Mark, and the three of us are collection development librarians. Hi, friends.
Good time. I actually don't know when this releases, so should I say afternoon, morning, night?
Good whatever moment you're listening to this
Right.
in. Dangling preposition. Yes.
Beautiful. And we do know it is probably summer while you were listening to this, hopefully.
Maybe.
And it might be hot out there, which has us thinking of ways to cool down and maybe thinking about what kind of body of water is your favorite to be in or around to cool down.
My answer is all of them. I do like, I like peaceful waters. I'm not a whitewater river rafter yet. It sounds like fun, but also I would like to relax in the water. So I love pools. I love the ocean where the waves are not high. I love lazy rivers. I love lakes. I love bathtubs. Like I love water. I love water. Maybe like slightly deep puddles. Like I just love water all over the place. And later on, I'm going to talk about a book where the puddles will come into play. But yeah, I am a very big water person, and I could just spend hours and hours in the water. I did when I was a kid, a tween, and I lived in Florida, and we had a pool in our house, and like not in the house, but outside of the house, and that was my whole thing. I would just get home and just swim and swim and swim every single day. And I could not figure out how to swim with my book, which was very sad.
Is your zodiac sign a water sign?
No, it is
It's
not.
Earth, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
Air. Yes.
So off.
No, I just love water. Okay. Yeah.
As soon as you asked the question, I had a very general answer that turned into a very specific answer. I have spent most of my life in Nebraska. I am as triple landlocked as it is possible to be. But if I don't see the ocean every few years, I'll just be a little glum about it. And I realized at a certain point that the Great Lakes were good enough to press that reset button in my brain. And it happened in conjunction with a polar bear event that I do not have any idea why I agreed to, but
Did you say polar bear event?
Polar bear event, yes.
I love all of those words
right?
together.
So as part of a team building challenge, I jumped into Lake Michigan when the water was about 40 to 50 degrees colder than the air temp. And
Did you forget to breathe?
I remembered to breathe. What I forgot to do was take off my only pair of glasses.
Oh, no.
So I lose my glasses in freezing water. And at a certain point, I was like, nope, okay, I'm out. I cannot be looking for these. I am going to die. So as it happened, another member of the group had a spare pair of glasses in these like heavy black plastic Buddy Holly frames that became my style for 10 years.
Yeah, I was like, I could just totally see that.
Yep.
I could totally see that happening.
So that was both my fastest cooling off in a body of water and a very happy accident for me.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah, like also looking for your glasses without your glasses is in water is very difficult.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't like jumping in freezing water. And I know that's not technically freezing, but that's freezing. I can, like, just you describing that story makes me not able to breathe. Like,
Right.
just
Like, no, stop. Don't go in.
Stop, Mark of the past.
We know you survived, but why?
Don't do it.
You can find those glasses without doing this. I want to know what team you built after that.
All right, I guess my turn. I don't have a specific moment. Maybe I do. I think compared also to being triple landlocked most of my life, the ocean is definitely magical to see and to be in. When we were in Hawaii a couple of years ago, being in the ocean was very cool. Just felt like, something I wouldn't have ever thought would be something I would ever be able to do. So that was very fun. And then there was a time my sister and I took a trip to California and we're like driving up the coast, and got out a couple times to like just stop and like stare out at the ocean. And I don't know, it just made me think of my ancestors in a way, of like how they were mostly all triple landlocked and how it was cool that I could see this and maybe like up in some great distant weird spiritual way send that vision to them or something. I don't know. And it just like, I feel like when you see the ocean, you feel like you're connected to the world more so than when you were just sitting on land. I don't know. So
that is a good perspective, that like it's a connection to other parts of the world in some ways. Mm-hmm. I also don't think you have to come from it to love it. Yeah. It's like, I don't come from here, but I think I have the magical appreciation of it, of not coming from here, that like I love driving to Colorado. Like people are like, it's so boring. It's not. I find it so beautiful. I could just look at that open sky forever. The fields, the cows, there's a sense of magic when you haven't had it. Mm-hmm. And the ocean is just magical. Like every time I go there, I feel I've regenerated myself in a way, walking in the sand, just being in the water. It just feels like you're renewing yourself. Yeah. I don't know. There's something really beautiful about it.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Great. Okay, so we are ready to share some books for July 2026. The first one I have is called The Great Wherever by Shannon Sanders. It comes out July 7th. I was so excited to have stumbled upon this debut novel of an intergenerational saga on a farm with ghosts. So 32-year-old Aubrey's 4-year relationship has just ended when she learns there's a potential offer on her family's Tennessee land, which she has inherited a stake of after her father's death almost a year ago. So she leaves Washington, D.C. and arrives on the farm, which, unbeknownst to her and her relatives, is being watched by the ghost of their ancestors, who the publisher says never hesitate to pass judgment on the mistakes made by the living. The history of the family land is revealed, beginning with Thomas, her great-grandfather, and one of the first Black landowners in the community. His dreams of this land being a gift to his family has turned into a tragedy, with the inheritance causing tensions among family members through the generations. And with the potential sale of the farm, the ghosts are not happy. The publisher says this is at once grand and intimate. It explores the ways we learn to define ourselves through and against our families, how we carry on after loss, and how the past lives on in all of us. And Booklist says this is a debut novel that is part family saga, part historical fiction, part ghost story, and entirely captivating. Sanders expertly portrays familial relationships, imbuing her characters with pathos and humor as they grapple with the complexities of family legacy.
Wow. It's got all your stuff.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got some kind of ghosts, I guess. I don't know. The first book I'm bringing you this month is a super gory horror novel. Fabulous Bodies by Chuck Tingle is The second book I've read by this immensely creative, horribly graphic writer, we meet our protagonist, Poppy Stringer, a fabulous influencer who is just trying to do her best for her baby daughter. Until she makes more money off of being famous, she has to move some bodies around, literally. We find her illegally stealing bodies when the book begins, but soon she is enthralled by the real star, Eddie Michaels. Her favorite rock star dies unexpectedly, and someone wants to pay her for his body. But things are not what they seem, and after she has stolen his body, he wakes up. Hence begins this bloody desert carnival in which Poppy must help Eddie, but she can't really understand why, especially when she starts seeing all the violence happening around him. Will she survive this? Can she overcome the very powerful supernatural events taking her life over? And why is Eddie so obsessed with her? Olivia Blake calls this another banger from the king of camp horror. Fabulous Bodies is Chuck Tingle flexing his prodigious powers of entertainment, and it's easily his best book yet. Tightly paced, deliciously frightening, and emotionally sweeping, this one's a masterly ride across terror and wonder. I can't wait for wherever Chuck Tingle takes me next. And CJ Lead adds that it is a wild, brutal romp through Hollywood's desert playground, turning the pages felt nearly compulsive, and I'll follow Poppy Stringer wherever the dark night takes her. Gory, outrageous, and full of showmanship, this is one spectacle you won't want to miss. Out on July 7th.
I'll take us back a few decades with Astronaut by Oana Aristide, coming out July 14th. Romania, 1989. The twilight of Ceausescu's dictatorship. Daily news flashes of seemingly random murders grip the nation. The suspect? A man-eating bear. Amid the fear of informants, official lies, and daily rationing, two bright lives collide. I'm borrowing this from the publisher description, by the way. Constantine, an idealistic police detective prone to scribbling fairy tales in his notebook, is tasked with solving that string of mysterious deaths. Leah, a rebellious, inquisitive schoolgirl pining for more color in her life, is unwittingly drawn into an eccentric elderly neighbor's secret plot against the regime. While everyone around them is flattened into submission, these two find the spirit to carry out small acts of defiance. Their decisions will have sweeping consequences for themselves, for their families, and for their country. Jennifer Croft, author of The Extinction of Irina Ray, says, Astronaut is a brilliant and uniquely energizing read. Oana Aristide's skill as a storyteller glimmers in every deftly navigated twist and turn, and introduces us to remarkable characters. In the grip of a tired totalitarianism they may, they hope, finally be able to put to rest. You will love this book. I'll give the final word to Emily Temple of Literary Hub. Importantly, what Aristide's wonderful novel illustrates is that even in the darkest of timelines, it is possible to find shelter and something like freedom within the vast spaces of the imagination. Astronaut also reminds us that in all fascist systems of control, there comes a point where the grip gets so tight the mechanism shatters and everything changes at once.
Wow. I really want to read that. And I know there's so much more to it, but like the description of someone who just writes fairy tales like it's doodling, I love that. What does that mean, particularly in like this, like a regime where you're afraid all the time, and like
any written evidence could be
and it's like an escape of creativity. It's beautiful.
All right, my next one is Savage Landscape: How We Made the Wilderness by Cal Flynn. It comes out July 28th. This one is for nature lovers and summer armchair travelers, as author Flynn travels to some of the most remote lands of deserts, mountains, and forests. This reflective work dives into the thousands-year-old practice of seeking out uncharted nature in search of an epiphany or just an escape. As she explores these supposedly uninhabited areas of the world, the publisher says she finds that such truly untouched lands don't exist. Nearly every wilderness has been or is actively exclusively inhabited by humans. Covering such areas such as Antarctica, Iceland, Mount Sinai, Transylvania, and Uganda along the way, Flyn asks provocative questions about the nature of wilderness, its preservation, and its meaning. Booklist calls it an intellectual look at wilderness for those looking for more than the typical armchair adventure. Author Elizabeth Colbert calls it a book of searching in the best sense, full of ideas, beauty, doubts, and adventures. And author Pico Iyer says, Cal Flynn is one of the most exciting writers around for the poetry and precision of her prose, for the vast scope of her learning, for her fearless and self-questioning spirit. In the savage landscape, she opens one door after another, to wonder, to terror, to rich and mixed feelings, so that we can see the world anew and in all its deepest dimensions. This book is at once thrilling adventure and bracing meditation.
That sounds amazing. I really want to read that. And it ties in pretty well with my next book, which also ties in with my first book because it's scary, but it's also nonfiction. So it's creepy. It's called Hidden Creatures, Luscious Leeches, Bashful Botflies, and The Wondrous History Shaping the World of Parasites by Dino Martins. So I love a good microhistory. And some years ago, I read The Earth Moved by Amy Stewart, and it completely changed the way I looked at worms. So I'm hoping this book either does that or scares the heck out of me like Rabid by Bill Wasik about rabies. Either way, I am looking forward to reading this in-depth look at the world of parasites. Martins covers both the horrors of the ways these creatures infiltrate our systems, but also the important part they play in our ecosystem. If you are like me and have insatiable curiosity about nature, you will enjoy the peek into the systems that are regularly part of polite conversation, like tapeworms that are 120 feet long in a whale, or diseases that can pierce through crocodile skin, and of course, the leech. The publisher likens Martin's work to a David Attenborough documentary in a book. Chloe Dalton calls it an astonishing, eye-opening, and inspiring guide to the world's microscopic marvels, showing how much we can learn from looking closely at the things we fear and the beauty of nature's hidden mechanisms. Wonderfully revolting and utterly fascinating, it is a thrilling tribute to the interconnectedness of life, full of awe-inspiring detail and gripping facts. It will make you want to rush out and look at puddles through a magnifying glass. See, there they are. Your world will be larger for reading this book. And Carl Safina adds, only one man, the uniquely gifted storyteller, exquisitely observant naturalist, and skilled artist Dino Martins could make the disgusting subject of parasites simply sing with fascinating horror. Hidden Creatures presents us with vampires, hijackers, and other evil geniuses of the natural world who are continually doing their nastiest, best work around and inside of us. It's a gripping page-turner, and you will certainly wash your hands before your next meal. Out on July 7th.
Kind of want to wash my hands right now.
Yeah.
I kind of feel a little itchy.
No, 100%. That is entirely my kind of book, and I feel unwell.
Perfect.
Right. I have a book that I'm really excited to share with you. I think it's a tremendous piece of journalism and history and genealogy. I will let you know up front, it's not the easiest story to tell. I'm going to introduce you to They Stole a City, Wilmington's White Supremacist Coup and the Families Who Live with Its Legacy, written by Lauren Collins, releasing on July 14th. On the night of November 9th, 1898, an armed group of white supremacists initiated a riot in Wilmington, North Carolina. It resulted in the deaths of as many as 200 black community leaders, ministers, lawyers, and citizens. Leaders of the multiracial local government were forced out of their positions. Members of the white supremacist group were installed in their places. For nearly a century afterward, local media and officials downplayed the event, portraying it as a, quote, necessary adjustment, end quote, in local government. Investigations into the incident were minimal. Lauren Collins, who's from Wilmington, presents 10 years of research on the event, including historical background, details of the night it happened, the years of cover-up, and a detailed long-term analysis of its effects. Her book is told as a story through the lives of 4 local families, the Howes and the Halseys, both black, and the Bellamy McRaes and the Moores, both white. The above comes from Library Journal's review. LaRonda Manigault-Bryant, whose research and writing includes lived memory in Gulagichi communities, says, with moral clarity and narrative precision, Lauren Collins has crafted a searing account of the 1898 Wilmington massacre that is as analytically rigorous as it is emotionally resonant. By centering the interwoven lives of 4 families, They Stole a City exposes the calculated architecture of white supremacist violence, while illuminating the enduring strategies of black resistance, survival, and community making. Collins refuses the comfort of historical distance, instead insisting on the intimate and structural continuities between past and present. Wright Thompson, best-selling author of The Barn, concludes a brilliant and somber review with these words. This story happened 128 years ago. This story is happening now.
Wow.
I thought I was talking about the horror books. Wow.
Okay, so to follow that up, my next one is Fishbone, Cinderella by Elizabeth Lim. It comes out July 28th. This adult novel debut by the young adult author Lim presents a dual timeline, folklore-inspired mother-daughter story with a backdrop of 1940s Hong Kong and 1960s San Francisco. As Japanese soldiers invade her hometown, Ha-Yat Ying is able to escape by turning invisible, an ability her mother wants her to keep hidden as it's part of a family curse. She also tells her about a protective bracelet resembling linked fish bones. Her mother's curse involves seeing horrible visions of the future, which leads her to be sent to live with her father and stepmother, where Ha-Yat Ying is treated as less than a family member. Decades later in America, her daughter Marigold learns of her mother's ability to disappear, but it's starting to get worse. The condition is deteriorating, and they are concerned that she could vanish entirely. The two head to Hong Kong in hopes of uncovering secrets that could save her. The publisher calls it a story of mothers and daughters, the scars they inherit, and the magic that binds them. Vaishnavi Patel, whose latest book was talked about in one of our last episodes, says it's a gorgeous, haunting story of magic, memory, and loss. Fishbone Cinderella is an aching exploration of the lengths we go to protect the ones we love and the bonds between mothers and daughters in all their forms. Lim's story has all the hallmarks of a new fable, elegant, atmospheric, and resonant across time and space. And Stacey Lee says, it's everything you want in a book. Mothers and daughters bound by love and fracture, an aching, fate-twined romance, women carrying the weight of inherited magic, and a sweeping history that crosses borders and generations. It is utterly unforgettable.
Yay.
Huzzah.
Okay, so this is a little lighter than maybe my other books. A lot of the comments about it say that it is funny, it is hilarious, and you all know how much I loved the novel Bandit Queens by Parini Shroff, and she finally has another book out. Some People, it is called, comes out on July 7th. Malti Patel can take care of her own self, thank you very much. Okay, maybe she's concussed, but whatever. It is unbelievable that the only person who can help her is her daughter's soon-to-be ex-husband. Her doctor says she has to have someone close by, and her daughter is off in India doing her graduate studies. So this is what she has to deal with. They both aren't in the best place to talk to each other, but the experience makes them both look at their relationships with caveat differently and maybe look at some things they did that might have driven her away from both of them. This book is riddled with humor and the depth of human relationships. And just like one of the books I talked about last month, this book didn't have very many open reviews, but what I can say is, having read Bandit Queens, even like when she talks about serious and heartfelt topics that are that can be hard to read, she does it in a way that makes you laugh and feel like lighter. So I'm really looking forward to this one because I do read a lot of hard and heavy books. So this will make me laugh, I'm sure.
Excellent. I'm also giving myself a little break with a bit more whimsical title to close out. I am looking forward to Mossed in Space by Rebecca Thorne.
I love that title so much.
Which is scheduled to release on July 9th. Thorne, who's the author of the Tomes and Tea cozy fantasy series, is going for a little bit of a genre shift with a new sapphic sci-fi romance trilogy. As Neil Wyatt writes for Library Journal, the story pivots around two unlikely companions, Torian Rasner, a lapsed smuggler who's saved up to buy her own ship, and Moss, a superintelligent plant colony that actually functions as the life support system and central computer of the decrepit old spaceship that Torian has bought. The two find that they're well suited to each other, becoming fast friends as they set forth on Torian's long-held quest to find a way to immigrate with her ill sister to a planet with cleaner air. Now, I'm not saying we would never feature a romance where a sentient moss was the primary love interest. In this case, that role goes mainly to Amelia, Torian's former captain and fellow smuggler. Kirkus offers a positive, if dispassionate, take on the book's appeal, saying, "Sweet without being overly saccharine, it's a book for readers who want the adventure that comes with the vastness of outer space without its harsher realities. A cleverly titled cozy sci-fi romance that marks Thorne as a writer to watch." But I'll let Jay Penner close us out with a more exuberant review, saying, "Take one part sci-fi adventure, add some talking moss with attitude, don't forget a little found family, and simmer until cozy. Mossed in Space is a heartwarming tale, following a ragtag group finding their place in the universe, and, more importantly, each other. Perfect for lovers of science fiction who enjoy sweet, whimsical stories with a big heart and a handful of moss."
I love it. I will be reading that for sure.
All the titles mentioned today can be found in a list on our episode description. Stop by on the first Tuesday of every month to hear about new books coming out, dropping that month. That's our episode. Thank you for joining us for the new title drop for July 2026.